Spirits Got You Down, California intuitive Dana Grant meets Southern psychic Allie Divine as they discuss and lead you through all things divine. Let them be your guides in Spirit Unlimited.
Allie Divine, it is so good to see you, and I am so excited to launch this podcast.
It's going to be a fun ride, isn't it?
Yeah, Spirit Unlimited, inquiring minds want to know. I mean, let's do this. We've been
I
talking
want to
about this
know.
for a long
I'm one of them. I want to know. So let's
Yeah.
get in the know. How's that?
Yeah, well, you know what? We kind of got to take the mystery out of mystic here and get this, go a little bit deeper on how we do what we do. And, I'd like, and tell me if you think this is cool. I'd like to talk about today about how we do things, about how we connect, about why people come to us, and just, and overall about welcome the people that are here.
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. I'm sure you
Yeah.
do too. How do you do this and why and all these things
Yeah.
and I think maybe hopefully we can break it down to where
Yeah.
maybe some of them, and
Yeah.
it's almost so easy it's hard, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I think, I get asked, but I get tested a lot. Like people set me up for tests
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay. I'm okay with
But
that.
you don't
I'm
ever know
okay with
when
it.
what to, how to respond to that sometimes, or I don't. Do you? I mean, it's kind of
No,
like
no,
sometimes I get
no.
so aggravated. It's like, let's don't do this.
Yeah.
Let's just don't do
Yeah.
this.
Let's just already
Yeah, and
let's get to what you really want to know.
exactly. And if you want to really come here and try that, then don't bother.
Yeah.
But then I
Don't
put on the
don't
happy
be
face, and I'm
bothering
sure
us.
you do too. Yeah, and just
Well,
smile, and it's like, okay, let's do this, and we'll get her done.
yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
I
you know
get
what
it.
though? We kind of live in this world. So isn't it normal for people to want to know, hey, how do you connect? Hey, what do you use tools? Do you use tarot? I mean, for me, I don't use tarot. I use my intuition.
Mhm.
We live in the same world, but we handle it differently. How we connect. Although I do know this about us, that we're both connected to God and Source and
Exactly.
angelic beings. We don't, we call in the light, and I know we're both light workers. But Allie, on our first episode here, I think we should tell a little bit about ourselves. So
Okay.
tell me something I don't know about Allie Divine.
Oh gosh.
Here, I'm
You
going to
know,
sip my tea while you do that.
you
Here,
go
I'm
right
sipping my
ahead.
tea over here.
I think we've really pretty much. I'm don't have a whole lot about myself. I don't know what y'all would really want to know. Um,
Okay, then tell me
it's
how long has this been going on? I want to sing that song. How long has this been going on? Okay, no sing. I promise I won't sing. But yeah, how
that's
long
the
has this
next
been going
episode.
on? Yeah.
Um, ever since I can, recall 10, 7 years old, 7, 10, around in there, it was just my normal.
Yeah, it was your
And then
normal.
it went away for a little bit.
So tell me
'Cause
tell me what normal looks like in your world. What is normal? Tell the people what normal is for you. Break it down,
oh,
Allie.
I like that question. See, I have to have
Yeah.
it a little simpler there. Normal is going through what I would consider a normal day and encountering things that other people are not seeing, hearing, or feeling.
Mm.
Sometimes I've actually turned around, to talk to somebody at the mall, and there's nobody there. Do you know how many stares I get for that stuff? So I just try to stay in my own little world, in my own little walls, and it's kind of like okay. And I try not to look around too much. I try to just focus because see, I get
Mm.
a lot of things that'll pop in what I call my my
Mm.
peripheral vision.
So actually people that are walking by you,
Mhm.
you're feeling their energy and pulling things in. Yeah, that
Right.
makes
Or
sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
or something that is actual, like some people would call it like a residual energy, a spirit,
Hmm.
they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Not just in graveyards or wherever you think they would be. They're all over the place.
Oh, I
They
like
walk
that.
amongst us.
They're everywhere. And how do they pop in for you? And we're talking mediumship now.
Hmm.
Let's talk about mediumship and let's talk about psychic. Does psychically when you're talking to someone, does it just come to you or do you have to tap in and like pull what I say is I pull the curtain back and I start to doodle and things start to
I
unfold
like
for me.
that.
Yeah, how does that work for you?
Well, what I do, I always like it when a client says very minimal in the beginning,
Yeah.
and I like to kind of lead. Or okay, actually, I like to have the angels lead. And I tell them very specifically who I'm speaking with. I'll say, this is your angels, or this is your
Mhm.
loved ones. And
Yeah.
what they'll do, this is what I love. Some people don't like it though, because those angels will tell me everything about a person, even when they don't want me to know it.
Oh,
You know,
well,
and
I
I,
experienced that. I experienced that firsthand
yeah, you
because,
did.
this is
But
how we
that's,
met years ago. Yeah.
yeah, but that's how I know who I'm dealing with, because I
Mm,
ask them for that. You know, even if it's something silly or something that I need to be aware of, I want to know how that person ticks, like
right.
a spirit profiler. There you go. Uh,
Ooh, I like that. I
you know,
like that.
so you just kind of get that bead on them. And then what I do is I just ask these angels, what does this person need to know? What are they
Yeah.
here for? And I always make it really clear, what do you need versus what do you want? Because that
Right.
is two different things, Dana.
Well, it's so funny you bring that up, Allie, because in life coaching and being an intuitive life coach,
Hmm.
my biggest tool is to lean into what do people need, what do they want, and where's the divide. And there's always a divide. It's not the
Yeah.
same thing. So it's interesting that you use that psychically,
Hmm.
and I use that intuitively in my coaching. It's like we're not that far apart in what we do, with the
No.
except, yeah, I mean, with the exception of I have a big toolbox and I'm probably more of a question asker, and you
Mhm.
are, I think you dive in deeper into the unknown and you reveal things to them.
Well, yeah, but I see you doing that this sort of the same way. It's just a different version of it.
Yeah,
You
yeah, we
know,
come
that's
at it.
all it is. I told somebody once, I said, every intuitive, every medium, I don't know. I just don't think anybody's better than anyone else. I think we all just
Right,
work differently. And
right.
what I miss, you could catch, or vice versa.
Well,
So I think it's good to expand your outlook and your
yeah,
reach.
yeah.
And remind them, things do change,
Right. Things
and
do
the
change. We
way
have free
if
will. We have free
that's right,
will. Things can
that
change on
that
a
damn
dime. On
free
a dime.
will, it gets you
That damn
every
free will.
time. Um,
Yeah.
and it's very important that they understand that. But there's going to be people that I think you could connect to a lot quicker and simpler than I could. Because see, I asked the angels to tell it to me 3 times. Three is
Hmm.
kind of like my magic number, and that way I know where it's coming from, and I know what I would call it valid.
Right. Um, I like that. And, I think that when I'm coaching, obviously I'm using tools, but I'm always tapping into more psychically. And then
Mhm.
mediumship, if that pops in, I give them the option of, would you like to talk to whomever's here? I'll explain who's here and go that right. But not always. And probably
But
less and less. I
yeah,
incorporate that less and less into my work. Um, More psychically current, back and forth. But
right.
yeah, mediumship. But
But some people don't
yeah,
want to. Don't, some people don't want that.
bingo. That's exactly right.
And
And
I asked that too, and
yeah,
I'm glad you said that, because I always ask, which one do you want? Do you want a combination,
yeah,
or do
yeah.
you just want to speak with these spirits that are here with you? It's
Right.
just.
So, and as you sit, we're taping this, and I'm in
Mhm.
California, and you're in Indiana.
Right.
You're down there on the tip of the South, tip end of it, but you're taping this from a funeral home.
I am.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
so something I probably wouldn't do. Do I laugh every time I
Well, I
think,
tell you
well,
though, sometimes I question it myself. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? You know? And then I'm like, it's all right. You got this. You do this. This
well,
is what you
yeah.
do.
Well,
This is what you do.
you're a few hours ahead of me, so I'm thinking it's 5 o'clock here. It's already 8. It's already dark there, and I don't think you could catch me for the. I would not be in a funeral home at dark taping this by myself. I mean, there's the difference between California intuitive and Southern psychic taping it from a. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, we both know it's all energy. It's
it
all
is.
energy.
But I have to remind myself sometimes of that though, Dana. I'm glad you brought that up. Do you ever have to kind of like remind yourself that it's kind of like when you get that startle moment and you're like, okay, it's just
Mm.
energy. I'm all good, you know?
I would, Yeah, I think that we have a big responsibility what we share, what we know, and how we guide people, and knowing that it's energy, and knowing that with that energy that it can affect people's lives. in detrimentally or positive. And I think our
Exactly.
responsibility is to share information that guides people, makes them aware, and and not give information that is not asked. We can ask
Exactly.
questions, and yeah, but if they don't drop into it, there, I don't
Don't
think we
go
should be
there.
digging. Yeah, we shouldn't be psychically diving in.
No.
I call it spiritual bypassing into their area where they didn't ask for that. So I think,
Exactly.
yeah, I think we have that responsibility
and
to,
and sometimes they'll
yeah,
ask for it, and you'll hear, or I will hear from their angels, it's like, no, not right now.
yeah.
So I'll have to, what I do is I just try to kind of go off into another subject and kind of say, oh, we'll see if we can get any more on that, because
Well,
some
and
people just, they don't need to know right now.
yeah, and I believe that God is in control of all of this, and if we get that niggle that now's not
Hmm.
the right time, we have to honor that, because we certainly, and we know this, we are not in control at all.
I agree,
and
because I think
and we have to
you're
be
kind of
extremely
called into
respectful.
it.
Yes, we're
Yes, you
called
do.
into this, and we have to be. And I think this is what I love so much about you, Allie Divine, is I love how you respect the spiritual laws that are unspoken. And
And
I
seeing, I
mean,
don't even
yeah,
really know them, but I feel them.
yeah, yeah. That's what I
And I'm
say.
sure you're the
Yeah,
same way. And
yeah,
he gave me a break, for almost 20 years. He kind of cut me loose, let me play, let me
yeah,
do what. And I think that is amazing, because
yeah,
I got what I prayed for,
yeah,
almost got too much. Actually, I did get too much. And then I knew, because he was like, all right, you got to go to work. I
yeah,
prayed every day as a little kid, mind you, little kid. And I always wanted a horse. Well,
yeah,
God gave me not only a horse, he gave me a barn full of like 40 horses to take care of. And I
yeah,
was like, oh crap,
yeah.
and then I knew it was my time there was done. And I
Yeah.
knew I had to do this,
Right.
and that's that.
And
I think that's that calling, that's that leading. And when I say it went away, I kind of, I always joke and say, God gave me playtime, you know,
mhm,
and then I had to kind of rein it back in. It was always there, but
mm,
I could muffle it more.
right.
I could say, "Oh, I don't want to do, and kind of divert to something else.
Right.
But the older I got, and I don't know
It
if
was
this
more
is the same
difficult.
with
It was
you,
more, yeah, more difficult
there
to
is
to
no
put on the
blocking.
download.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is no blocking it. And I thought, well, am I
There's only what
getting
we say and
weaker?
what we don't say. Oh, what we say and
Right.
what we don't say. That's all
Yeah.
it is. But there absolutely, you're right. There's
So I
no
don't know. I mean, I have a
shortcut.
question for you. Does that mean like I'm getting weaker or stronger because I can't block it? Uh,
Yeah, I would say you're more connected, and I think that with maturity and with this responsibility,
mhm,
I think that you hold this responsive,
right.
this information, that the rhythm of it, of what should be, or I think we're guided there too. This is what I'm going to say, and or we become really good question askers
Yeah. And
on,
you kind of
yeah,
learn.
yeah, if I've got a
Or I
woman standing
did.
in, yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember blurting out in the beginning, being so excited that I was so on point, but there were areas that I now look back on,
Hmm.
no regrets, but I think I'd handle that differently. Now I kind of guide into it like, do you know what a blue plaid dress is? Does that mean
Right.
anything to you? So how I ask, and and both of us not being formally trained, we didn't go to
Exactly.
school to be psychics, we didn't go to school to learn this. We both incorporated this into our lives because it was already there, and we both have incorporated it into our businesses, where your business is all psychic mediumship. I mean, you're all that's what you do full time. For me, I've incorporated it in as an intuitive, into coaching. So I kind of multitask it.
And that kind
I
of gives you a heads up, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it's like dumping out one of those huge puzzles where you have all
Right.
these pieces, and I get to sort it out. And by the time I'm done, they have a map out of their life and lots of information. And I'm careful not to tell them where they're going, but to guide them. And again, utilizing this information
Yeah, because there's so many
to
paths. They can
to
pick where
support.
they're going.
Yeah.
To a
I mean,
certain degree, they can make those changes. That's at free will.
yeah.
And a lot of
Would you
people though
say
don't
that?
want to hear that. They want,
Yeah,
no, you
yeah,
tell me what to do. And I'm
yeah,
like, I
yeah.
can't tell you what to do.
Yeah, wouldn't you say,
And
Ellie, that you're a support unit? Don't you think you're a support unit in this process?
that puts a lot of pressure on me. But yeah, I guess so. I
Yeah,
never thought of it that way. A responsible support unit. How's that?
I
I
like that.
tried. I tried to be.
Yeah, well, we
But
don't
I
want to
think I
blurt
think we
things out
both
because
are.
we, yeah. Well, I mean, I think that if we blurted out, hey, do you know your husband's having affairs? Well, I mean, actually,
Exactly. Yeah.
we,
Well, you
and
read
they're
my
like,
mind on that one.
and
Yeah,
you could
because
see their
that was
face
what
like,
I was getting
what?
ready to come up with. So yeah,
Yeah.
because
No,
you
we don't
don't do
blurt that
that,
out.
you know.
No, we
And
don't do
like
that.
I've told them
Don't
before,
go
if
there.
you're coming to me to find out who's cheating on who, they're
Yeah.
already doing it. You
Yeah.
see, follow your own gut on that stuff.
Well, and
Because I don't want any part of it.
yeah, and you know what? I know this firsthand. Me coming across you many, many, many moons ago, at a really tumultuous time of my life that I didn't even know was tumultuous,
Hmm.
but reaching out, just so guided to connect with you. And you were really quite gentle. You asked me questions, gave me some strong advice in a certain area, but never told me what was going on, which at that time my psyche probably would not have been able to handle that. And it
You're
was
right.
big. It's big stuff. There's a book coming, and I will say we will unfold this as this podcast
Oh,
goes
that's
on.
great.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to choose to unfold that. But it took 3 years before I was willing to want to talk about it. But you were the original connection that I reached out
But if
to
you think
and
about
said,
it, 3 years
"Hey,
isn't that bad. That's not a lot of, well, at least at my age, 3 years isn't a long time. You
well, Allie,
know,
I think I'm older than you."
we're not going to
Yeah,
get
no,
into that.
yeah,
You're only old, I guess, as you feel
as you
or
feel. Yeah,
whatever.
well, I feel damn old, Allie.
Today I do.
Yeah.
But maybe tomorrow I won't feel as old. It's just one of those
Yeah.
days.
Well, I like
But,
that. I like that.
you
And
know,
so tell me. Tell me something right now. Let's play a little bit of a game. I love
oh, I
games.
like
Tell me
those. Yeah.
yeah, tell me something I don't know about me right now. I mean, I love
Okay.
these little. That's not a test. Let's preempt.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is not a
Yeah.
test. This is like, hey, Allie
Because I would
Divine, tell me.
fail that because I
Yeah,
sucked at tests.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Tell
you
me
you know you're
something
gonna
about
you're
me.
gonna really get me on this one, but I know your birthday's in October. But
It is.
what day is it? Like the digit? Are you a single digit?
It's the eighth. It's eighth.
Eight.
Single digit
Okay.
eighth.
I like that
Infinity.
because
Yeah.
that's the infinity symbol.
Yeah. Master universal number
Yeah.
11. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I
Didn't know you were going there, but yeah. Well, let's go there. Yeah.
that's that infinity, which I think represents you pretty greatly. You
Hmm.
don't really have a breaking point. You keep continuing. You see what I'm getting at? And you circle back around shit.
You
You
better believe I do.
and until you get that done and you just keep going. So that I think is something that you may not have known about yourself.
Yeah. Well,
But
you know what
you
that.
kind of get in that loop though, and just like
Yeah.
anybody else, you get in that loop and you start to kind of spin, and then
Yeah.
you get overwhelmed. And then what do? You kick it
Mhm.
into Dana Drive,
Yeah.
and
I love that Dana
you
drive.
get the infinity symbol
Yeah.
going again. That's unbreakable.
That's interesting the way you just broke that down because I actually and I find that to be really helpful what you just said.
Good.
Um because you're absolutely right and it's not a loop, it's an infinity. If I got
Mhm.
caught in a loop, I'd feel stuck.
Yeah.
I'd feel like there was
Or
no movement.
dizzy. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
but I
getting in
don't
that
feel
loop,
that.
it's
Yeah.
not a loop. It's an infinity, and
Yeah.
infinity
So
is
that yeah.
extremely strong.
Yeah,
So,
that was
all right, so
illuminating.
your
That
turn. So
was
now you have to tell me something about myself that I don't know, which could be
oh
pretty much
gosh.
anything at this
Well,
point in this.
you know how straightforward I am just about
Yeah.
everything, but let me think about something you don't know. Maybe psychically,
Yeah.
we'll go there.
Okay.
Because I pull in a lot of stuff around you all the time, and I think we're both pretty. I always
Oh
say we're
gosh.
pretty accurate.
Overlap is what we
It's
do.
overlap.
We
Yeah,
overlap because you pick up on this and I pick up
yeah.
on that, and then we just sing it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Well, I think your life is looking. So, if I had to go psychically, let's go
yeah, let's do that.
exactly what dropped into my solar plex was it tightened and then it released, as in things are moving, going to be moving very fast for you. If I had to look at how fast, it's like this momentum. It's like, you brought up horses before, and
Hmm.
I look at all the signs and I'm like, oh, it's like a horse, that's trotting, and then all of a sudden it's in a full gallop, and now it's showing me water and showing me flow. So you're going to flow at a very fast pace. So life as you know it now, Allie Divine, is going to change, and it's going to change It's going to be different. It's going to be faster, but it's going to be everything you asked for. And I
I
want you to
like
stay
that.
very connected
Yeah,
on, well, wait a minute. Dana said this was coming,
that's
but I
right.
asked for it. So I always say, be careful what you ask for, because it will come in
Always.
like
Yeah.
vroom, and
But
it's
I
coming in
like
like
how it
vroom. Like that
transitioned
sound
though.
effect? Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Vroom.
how it transitioned though, because it didn't go from a full trot to full on. You know what I mean?
Well,
We,
it
we
did.
went
It went
for,
from trot to gallop, and
yeah.
and
So
then
that's not
when you're
too bad.
galloping, well,
Yeah.
then you put your head down and you start, and your head will
Yeah.
go down. You'll
At
put
least
your
we
say,
didn't go out on a
okay,
full bolt, so that's
yeah,
good. So that
yeah,
means there's a
no,
nice transition. And
yes.
I like that, what you told me, because then that way I know to sort of prepare for that,
Well,
the
and the
bigger
bowl,
things that are
yeah,
coming.
the bowl isn't going to happen because you're not going to be taken off. You're not going to get on a wild horse and be taken for a pony ride. You're going
Not
to know this
anymore.
is coming. Not anymore. You're going to know what's coming. You're
Right.
going to say, oh, wait a minute, I'm gaining momentum.
Yeah.
It's going faster. Things are changing, but this is what I asked for, and so I want you to embrace it. So
Thank you.
that's
And
that's
don't you
immediately what
agree that
dropped in.
that symbol, a horse is freedom,
Yeah, yeah,
okay? Especially a galloping, cantering horse, whatever. It's
yeah,
freedom.
yeah.
So yeah, so the changes that I'm, just like what you said, I needed that. The changes that I'm going
Hmm.
through initially will bring me that freedom. Okay. And
That
that
is so. Look at
freedom,
you take. Look at you
yeah.
take over.
But
You
see,
you
that's how
dropped
we
right
do
in. Yeah,
this.
you just dropped
You
right in.
see,
That's exactly
that's
where
exactly how we do this.
you're feeling everything that I didn't say, and I love
Exactly.
that.
And see, that's the
Yeah,
cool part, because you don't have to say it, then I can feel it.
yeah.
And then I can spit it back out, just like I can sit there
I
and
like
look
that.
at you,
Spit it back out.
and
You
just
gotta
throw
spit it
kind
back
of
out
two or
at me.
three, and you're like, bam. So
Yeah.
yeah, it works.
Oh, I
That's
know.
what you call a good
Our
partnership.
energy, yeah, it works. It
Hmm.
works. You know what? I am so excited about what we're doing. I'm so excited about being able to help people understand intuition and learn to trust it, and learn to trust that signs are there everywhere, and that if you think there's a
Always.
sign, there's a sign. Kind of, like we
Hmm.
see we call in and say, I want a white car, and then all of a sudden we see that same make and model and white car
Yeah,
everywhere. You called it in.
that's
So
exactly right.
we're going to talk about universal laws. We're going to talk about God, spirit, psychic, mediumship. We're
Yeah.
incorporating the universe is infinite, and I don't think we can divide and separate any of this. Do you agree?
Oh, I 100% agree on
Yeah.
that.
So
There's
we're
there's
bringing
no
it.
there's
Yeah,
no
we're bringing it
line.
all. Yeah,
It,
there's no line.
again, like that infinity, it
Yeah,
continues.
yeah,
There is
there's no
no
line.
definition of that.
No. So we're going to bring it all, and I am. Anything else you got to say today?
Well,
Anything
I
else
would.
you got to say?
Oh gosh, you don't want to go there.
Yeah.
um, I kind of curious how you can, how, not necessarily connect,
Mhm.
okay, but how are you seeing these? And I think a lot of people would like to know that too. Are you seeing it visually, internally? Are you hearing audibly, internally?
Right.
And I think we
Well,
kind of do both, but I want to know. I want to know how you do this.
so you know what? This is a great topic for next time, because
Okay.
it comes in differently. But I would have to say it's an emotional feeling that I know someone's standing next to me and they're
Hmm.
giving me visual images. I'm not looking at a dress with blue and white print on it, but they're letting me know
Right.
dress with blue. So I think that people say, "Are you physically seeing it?" Well, like I'm looking at you? No,
No.
but I know it's there, and I know it. The overwhelming sense. It's kind of like walking past someone on the street and you get bristles all up your neck and back. You can't
Yes.
deny that you had that
Right.
emotional feeling. Same
Or
thing when
standing in a
someone's
dark room and an
Yeah.
actual person comes up behind you, quiet as a
Oh yeah,
mouse,
and
but
you can
they're
fear.
back
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
You
and we'll
know
talk
you're
about
not
the
alone.
person. We're going to talk about the
I
person
can't wait.
behind you at a later date, because
Oh, that sounds great.
hey, you chose to tape it in a funeral home. I just think you're
See,
testing my abilities to see how many people I call
no.
in that are walking by you.
Well, maybe. But no, I'm just adding some fun to it, is all I'm
Yeah.
doing. So it's
Oh,
not
I
quite so
love it.
boring.
Well, let's have some fun, Ellie Devine.
That sounds great.
Okay, you
I'm
thank the
ready.
people for coming. You thank the people for coming, and what are we talking about next?
Oh gosh. Well, I think that there's no telling what we're going to dive into the next time we get together with this.
No
But
telling.
I
Yeah.
think it's going to be extremely interesting. But we're definitely going to get into some of these spirits that are in here.
Yeah.
What you're picking up on, what I can find out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can't wait. I cannot. I can't thank you enough for getting this started.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
you're welcome.
appreciate
Well,
that.
We got to thank the people. This is a
Oh yeah,
California intuitive meeting a Southern psychic and
that would be
everything in
me.
between. I
Yeah.
mean, everything but the kitchen pot, as you told me the other day, or you said something that just,
There
you
is
said a
no
lot.
telling what I have said
It
the
was
other
so
day.
funny. And I'm like, oh, okay. Or kitchen sink, not kitchen pot,
Yeah.
maybe kitchen sink, everything in the kitchen sink and beyond. Well, thank you,
Right.
Allie. And
Thank
I will
you.
see. Hey, and we thank the
Yeah. Thank
people.
you
And
guys so much for tuning in. We
yeah, thank
appreciate it.
you. We'll see you next
And we'll
time
see you
on
next time.
on
Bye.
Spirit Unlimited. Bye for now.